think the ones that stand out to me are, and partially because I've been there and I've met the people involved. One is FC United of Manchester. That was essentially a club set up about over 10 years ago by disaffected Manchester United fans. They were fed up with the Glazers who had come in and with lots of debt behind them, had bought Man United, and they were not happy with what's going on. So they went and started their own club from the grassroots, from nothing, and on a fully cooperative basis, one member, one vote, and built that up from scratch. They have built a £6.2 million stadium, beautiful stadium in Moston in Manchester, which I've been to a few times. They do fantastic work in the local community in a very kind of democratic way. They've had their troubles. They've had, there's been big flare-ups between different, I guess, factions you might call them, among the supporter base. But they've all been dealt with through this democratic process. So, like, people are able to have their say and vote this person out, vote this person in. It's always challenging for all these clubs, but I think that's a really good example. Lewis FC as well, down in the sort of south coast. They had a successful community takeover, I think, about 7 years ago. I think they're still a while away from true financial sustainability. I think there is still some support from the directors. But they've done some amazing things in terms of, I think the most headline-catching thing was they actually passed a motion to say that the women's team and the men's team would be paid the same, which is completely unprecedented. I think probably in the world, certainly in the UK, but possibly in the world. So I think we'll see how that works out. But I think that's an example of how that kind of real leadership and real kind of forward-thinking, building for the future. I mean, their view was, if we do this, we'll build for the future. We'll have we're a small club, so actually to have our women's team are far more successful than our men's team. So actually, if we can build women's football at this level into a viable idea, commercial idea, then it'll be much better for us in the long term. So I think those are two examples of clubs that are kind of doing things differently, which would be, if not impossible, pretty near impossible under a privately owned structure.